Deberry. I'm 21 years old. I've lived in Anson County all my life, and my goal is to make a difference in the world.
So were you born in Anson County?
No, I was originally born in Monroe.
Was your family born in Anson County?
Yes, most of them were all born in Anson County for the most part. I think some of my family was from South Carolina, and they kind of like migrated over just a tad, but for the most part, yes, we've been here in Anson County all our lives.
What are some of your dreams?
Further, the garden house. A second dream of mine is to create a legacy that is hard to ignore.
Can you tell me a little bit more about the garden house?
Yes, the garden house is a new nonprofit organization that has recently been started by myself. My goal is to offer a numerous of different trade programs for the kids, as well as hobbies that could potentially be turned into a lifelong career. So right now our main goal focus is getting the name of the garden house out to people and to continue to build relations with the people in our community, so they know that when we get a storefront, they know that, okay, that's the garden house. They do this, they help with this, they can do anything.
Do you feel like right now, since you've started, when did you start the garden house?
Last year, November of 2019, but we had our first official event for the garden house in May of 2020, and that was a march against police brutality. We did not want to call it a protest because we wanted to give everybody the opportunity to come out and mutually feel the negligence of a lot of the things that happen in our community, in our society, in our day and time. And we had a really great turnout for it, and that was the first thing that we did, and we have just been trying to continue in building our audience, building the momentum, and building the people that support us the most.
So do you feel, as of right now, with the outreach that you've done, do you feel that the garden house has been well received by Ansonians?
I would definitely have to agree there. I definitely think that the garden house has been well received by a lot of Ansonians, and even if they don't know that I am the forefront of it, they have heard about it, or they've heard what we do or what we're trying to do or some of the things that we participate in. So I do think that the garden house is leaving a positive taste in the mouths of those that make up our community.
Was this like your dream job when you were a kid? Is helping people something that you always wanted to do?
Yes, definitely. I've always tried to figure out a way that I could not only help myself, but help others. I don't want to sound selfish by saying I want to help myself, but it's no secret that in today's time, a lot of African Americans are neglected when it comes to education, financial, education, mental health education, just different things. And I felt that being a child and just recently finishing high school in the last 2 years, I would say that I experienced a lot of, not depression, but uncertainty. And a lot of the uncertainty was, who could I talk to, where could I turn, what was best for me. And a lot of children are neglected when it comes to those emotions and figuring out themselves. And that's not good. It's not healthy. It's not safe. And I felt that creating a safe space for people would be something that would only help generations and generations and generations. If that makes sense.
So, you talked a little bit more about. Can you talk a little bit more about how you feel the lack of resources presented to you has impacted your life?
Yes, I would definitely say growing up with a single mom, it shows you the best of both worlds, truly. Um, Growing up with a single mom, it shows you how capable you are of doing every single thing in this world, but it also shows you how hard it is without the support from the people that you love or the people that you feel should be there the most. So, being in a place that is small in number, because Anson County is very small, but if you look at it, Anson County is also very, I'd say, secluded to a lot of things. You have different groups, you have different people. So even if you are the best you can be, no matter where you go, it's always going to be someone better. But when you grow up in a place that does not have the adequate resources for everybody, it makes it harder for the ones that doesn't have, I don't want to say both parents at home or something of that nature, but it does make it harder that for people who don't have the same involved parents or the same things in common as other children. I grew up in a house where my mom, she worked for the school, so that was that, and then she worked third shift at a nursing home, and she also worked at group homes. There was always that extra mile to make sure ends meet, but not also make sure ends meet, but to make sure that we were comfortable. And so you do oftentimes sit back and think, well, what would it have been like if we would have had that extra amount of income? Would the struggle be different, or would the lessons be different? And ultimately, you just have to make the decision that I went through what I was supposed to go through to be where I'm supposed to be.
Do you feel that you're where you're supposed to be now, or do you feel like you're getting there?
Honestly, I feel like I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be now. I say that because for a long time, I rushed everything. And still sometimes I find myself rushing everything. But I'm learning that you just have to roll with it sometimes. And this is definitely a time in my life where I'd have to say everything is happening exactly how it's supposed to. And it always seems like another door is always opening. If that makes sense.
What kind of doors do you feel have opened recently for you?
I definitely say 2020 has brought the opportunity for the Garden House to fling out in full action. 2020 has brought new relationships with people in my community that I never would have expected, new friendships, new opportunities, not only for myself but for the Garden House as well. And like I said, the Garden House is one of my main focuses. And overall, I would have to say the Garden House has received just so much outpour from the people around us, telling us to keep going, even if it's not a monetary donation, if it's word of mouth, anything. It has truly got the recognition that we have set out for it to receive. And so I would say that with that alone, 2020 has, allowed me to start a journey that will allow me to help so many people in the future that I could only be grateful for what has already presented itself.
So, what would you do if you knew you could not fail?
If I knew I could not fail, I would purchase the building that I have my eye on for the garden house.
Where is it? Is it in Wadesboro?
Yes, it's in Uptown Wadesboro. It's perfect. It's big enough to house every single thing that we would like to have for the garden house. It's big enough to have our own space to have events that we plan to have for the garden house. And it's in the center of every community that we'd like to touch. So if I knew that I could not fail, I would go tomorrow and purchase that building.
So what other things do you plan to house in the garden house building?
We want to have daily programs such as tutoring services, mental health services, individual and family therapy services, art, media, photography, carpentry, mechanics, different things that children can partake in to learn them individual selves the best. I would have to say will probably be included in all of the programs in the garden house. We want to have culinary. We want to have a in-house restaurant where participants are actually the ones running the restaurant as well as cooking the food. We want to have monthly events such as like a dinner media event where the students are entertaining as well as the production, the props, the waiters and waitresses. All of it will be tied back in together through the garden house.
So is there someone that's shaped you or molded you think, into the person that you are today?
I definitely have to say my mom has shaped me into the person I am today. Like I said, I was raised by a single mom, and the amount of strength that I saw my mom display was like no other, and I say a lot of times, my mom is my child, and it's like I'm slowly turning into her. Like every day I look at something that I do and I'm like, gosh, I'm turning to my mom. Like I have a pen addiction and my mom has a pen addiction. And my mom is super great at creating everything. And here I am now being the one that's, following into the footsteps of helping somebody or always looking at how I can better the next person. And so I would definitely have to say my mom is the one who shaped me into the person I am today. And definitely my grandpa. My grandpa is my world, okay? This is funny. My grandpa, out of all 21 years of my life, have never told me no. And I think that is the reason why I can't take no for an answer. Never. And every time something goes wrong, I can call my grandpa. And as long as he says it's going to be okay, I can promise you my last dollar that it's going to be okay. So, yeah. My mom and my grandpa.
I love that. So what does Anson County mean to you?
I'm still trying to figure that out. And that might sound really crazy. But I am really still trying to figure it out because I know that it's so many great people in Anson, and I know that it's so many great things that Anson can offer. But it would have to receive the amount of attention, positive attention, that it does negative.
What do you feel are some positives in Anson County?
Anson County is a place of beautiful scenery. Anson County is a place of strength. Anson County is a place of, I would say Anson County is the perfect idea of humanity, because no matter what, you're always going to encounter a person that's willing to help you. You're always going to encounter someone who's going to lend you a smile and a hug if you ask for it. You just have to find those people. And today is hard because of everything that's going on, but those people still do exist, you know?
Yeah. Do you feel like you're one of those people?
I definitely feel like I'm one of those. No, I know that I'm one of those people. And I say that because I made up my mind a long time ago that I wanted to be a millionaire. And it was like, I was just sitting there one day and it all made sense. Like, you don't have to be a millionaire to have money, you know? You're a millionaire by the way you are blessed, the way you treat people, the way you receive. And I don't think there's one person that knows me personally, like knows Mianna through and through, that don't know that I would not give my last to anybody that needed it.
So, would you rather go back in time 1 year to talk to your past self, or go into the future 1 year to talk to your future self?
1 year to my future to talk to my future.
Why do you say that?
Because I would shake her hand.
Yeah.
I would shake her hand. And I would shake her hand because I know that she is going to be everything that I'm planning to be now. So I would just say thank you for staying on the right path.